Shalom, Israel, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, man. And we know it's so-called Black History Month, February 1st. That's the whole month. We're going to Black History Month. Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, Frederick Douglass, with them brothers and sisters. But I'm gonna do a Black History Month series. I'm gonna try to each day. I'm gonna try to get into Black history, whether it's in the Bible, because the Bible is Black History Month as well. I mean, Bible is Black history. The Bible is a Black history, and also if then I might get into just so-called Black history in general of our people that we may didn't know about, or certain events that we may didn't know that took place. So Lord willing, it be edifying, man. This is day one. Lord willing, I can be consistent with it. But this is day one. And the first person I'm gonna do is Christ, Yahweh Shai. So day one, I gotta get into the Messiah, man. He was a so-called black man. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people do know this though, but a lot of people in a sense, don't know this. Right? So I'm gonna get some scriptures to prove that Yahweh Shai was who the world calls Jesus Christ. He was and is a so-called black man. He's not a so-called white man with blonde hair, with blue eyes, with pale skin, like we see in the Christian church, like our grandma have on her wall. Not the images that we see on Google, not the images that we see on movies that they portray Christ as being a white man. Not that big statue in Brazil. That's not the Messiah. According to the Bible, he was a so-called black man. I'm going to prove that. So, Becky, can you give me Revelations 1:14 and 1:15? Because you have some people say the Bible don't describe how Christ looked. People say all colors. Some people say he was a white man. People say he was olive colored. They say all these different things. They say he was no color. But the Bible gets in depth and it describes his features, his hair texture, his eye color, his skin color, or how he was. We know he was a Jew. We know he was an Israelite. So we're gonna see how he looked.
Khan, his head and his hair were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burnt in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters.
So that goes into it breaks down the image of how the Messiah looked. They say his head and his hairs were white like wool. Now, babe, type in woolly afro on the internet. Just type in woolly afro. Christ had a woolly afro. Now, it got into the texture of his hair, right? You get that, sister, right there. It got into the texture of his hair. Now, wool, he had wool like hair. Wool is the texture of like a sheep. When the sheep grow all his hair out. Matter of fact, babe, type in the sheep. What? Just type in the sheep with woolly hair, because the sheep, when they got all his hair, is woolly and it feels just like our hair. And he had the same texture hair as us. See that? He had that woolly when he had that woolly textured hair, that curly, kinky hair. But his was white though. But why is it that we see Christ with blonde hair? When we look up the images on the internet, it's always a man with blonde, stringy dog hair. The Bible didn't say that. The Bible said he had white, woolly hair. He had hair like wool. He had the hair like a so-called black man, right? And it says his eyes was a flame of fire. His eyes was red. Now, why is it that we see the image of a white man with blue eyes being Jesus Christ? But the Bible don't say he had blue eyes. The Bible say he had red eyes. And then it said his feet was like unto fine brass. So it got into his feet. Now, ain't your feet, everybody's feet is the same color as their body. My feet ain't gonna be white. My feet ain't gonna look like that. My feet gonna be the same color as my arms, as my face. It's gonna be the same color. It said his feet was like unto fine brass. Now we know brass is like the color of a penny. It's like a brownish color. Brass, not grass, but brass, as if it burnt in a furnace. So if you burn anything, what color does it turn? It gets dark. So the Bible gets into how Christ was a dark skinned man. He had melanin. He had melanin. He wasn't no pale skinned man walking around Jerusalem. He wasn't. he wasn't a so-called white man. Even back then, they wasn't going to be able to, if he was a white man, he wouldn't have been able to withstand that heat, man, right? Because it was way hotter back then. He was a so-called black man. He had melanin. He had woolly hair like us, right? He was from the slums like us, So this Lord Williamsville was edifying. I didn't want to be too long, but this is my day one Black history going into the Messiah. Because what better way to start this off with getting into Yahweh Shai, who the world called Jesus Christ. What better way is it to get into him, which is a so-called black man, to start it off? So with that, I hope it was edifying. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Say shalom.